Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am so pleased to welcome all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, to your online learning journey. We're really looking forward to supporting your professional growth in this incredible industry. Now, today, we're going to dive into a topic that's completely changed the game: influencer marketing.
This quote right here, it just cuts straight to the heart of what's happening. Think about it. The era of those glossy, perfect brochures, well, it's pretty much over. Today, trust isn't automatically given to a brand anymore. Nope, it's earned by people. Travelers are out there looking for real, authentic guidance from individuals they actually feel a connection with. And that one simple fact, well, it's changed everything. So, how are we going to navigate this new world? Well, we've broken it down into 5 key parts. First, we'll get a handle on why trust is really the new currency. Then, we'll dive into the power of a good story and how to find the right partners to tell it. And finally, we'll look at the long-term value all this creates, and most importantly, what it means for your future in hospitality. Okay, let's start with this idea of trust as a currency. You see, modern travelers, they're not just buying a room anymore, they're buying an experience. They've moved way beyond just ticking off a checklist of amenities. Now they're searching for a personal connection, for a story they can actually see themselves living in. This slide really just captures that shift perfectly. Over on the left, that's the old way of doing things, right? It was a one-way street where a brand just pushed a polished message at you. But look at the right. That's the new model. It's a conversation. It's a storyteller sharing a real, genuine experience with their community. And that is the fundamental difference. And here's the absolute key to understanding this. An influencer's real power? It's not fame, it's credibility. Their followers don't see them as some distant, untouchable celebrity. They see them as a relatable peer, a guide who has built up a genuine relationship with them. And that's exactly why the recommendations feel less like an advertisement and more like great advice from a friend you really trust. All right, let's move into our second section, the power of an authentic narrative. This is where we make the shift from just, promoting a hotel to actually turning a simple stay into a story that inspires people and creates a real connection. So what do we actually mean by an authentic narrative? Well, simply put, it's the art of translating the real experience of your hotel, the vibe, the service, the feeling you get when you walk in, into a story that's so vivid that people watching can instantly picture themselves there. It's all about building an emotional bridge that connects a potential guest right to your doorstep.
And just look at how simple yet powerful these story elements are. This isn't about some huge, expensive production. It's about capturing the small, genuine moments we all connect with. That first sip of coffee with an amazing view, the pure relief of a super comfortable bed, the delight you feel when you have a memorable meal. These are the details that feel real, and they're what create a true sense of place. Now this is a really vital lesson. For any collaboration to feel genuine, you have to give influencers creative freedom. Think about it. Today's audiences can spot a scripted ad from a mile away. The second an influencer uses their own voice, their own style, to share their honest experience, that's when the content becomes infinitely more believable, more engaging, and way more effective. Which brings us perfectly to our third section, strategic alignment. Look, authenticity is absolutely crucial, but it only works if the storyteller is a natural fit for your brand. Success here isn't about finding the person with the most followers. It's about finding the right one. So how do you find that right partner? Well, it really comes down to this 4-step blueprint. First step, analyze their audience. Do their followers actually match the guests you're trying to attract? Second, engagement. Is their community genuinely interacting, commenting, and sharing? Third, style. Does their creative vibe complement your hotel's personality? And finally, the most important one, identity. Does their personal brand truly align with what your brand stands for? And believe me, following this process is not optional. Why? Because a bad fit can be a total disaster. A partnership that feels forced or just off, it doesn't just fail. It actually hurts the credibility of both your brand and the influencer. As soon as the audience senses it's just a transactional deal, you lose their trust. And that trust is the entire foundation we're building on. Okay, on to our fourth section, the ecosystem of value. This is where we start to think bigger, moving beyond just one-off campaigns and focusing on how we can build sustainable, long-term assets for our brand. The value of an influencer partnership doesn't just end when a post goes live.
In fact, that's really just the beginning. The content they create, the community they engage, the brand memory they build, all of it continues to deliver value for a long, long time.
And this table here breaks down exactly why that is. A one-time campaign, it can feel a little transactional, you know? It's just a quick snapshot. But a long-term partnership, that feels like a genuine preference. It allows a real story to unfold over time, and that builds a much deeper, much more resilient level of trust with the audience.
This chart is pretty revealing. Look at this. The initial reach of the post? That's only 40% of the picture. A massive 35% of the value comes from being able to repurpose all that amazing, authentic content for your own marketing. Another 15% is the community buzz it creates, and the last 10% is the long-term brand memory. The first post is literally less than half the story. And there's another powerful layer of value here. The best influencers don't just review your hotel in a vacuum. They weave it into the fabric of the destination itself, the local culture, the food, the adventures. They position your property not just as a place to sleep, but as the essential home base for an unforgettable journey. This brings us to our final section, and it's all about your future in storytelling. As you all prepare to become leaders in this industry, it's so important to see this not as some passing trend, but as a fundamental communication skill. It's what will define the most successful brands for years to come.
So let's just quickly recap the big ideas. Number 1, trust has moved from brands to people. 2, authenticity is your most valuable asset, period. 3, strategic alignment with your partners is absolutely non-negotiable. And finally, number 4, think beyond single campaigns. Focus on building long-term value and community.
So I'll leave you with this one question. You are the next generation of hospitality leaders. The principles we've talked about today are the very tools you'll use to build brands that don't just offer a service, but that tell a compelling story. So the question to take with you is this: what stories will your properties tell?